Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. All products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, soaps.com may receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. Where on earth is Phyllis Summers? That's the question in the minds of her children, Daniel and Summer, who spent almost an entire cocktail hour speculating as to why their mother had mysteriously gone radio silent. What has become of the young and restless Spitfire? The answer may shock you, or not. Let's face it, Phyllis is a lot of things, and a helicopter mom is definitely one of them. She seemingly appears out of the blue when her children least expect it, and often when they least appreciate her intrusion. Daniel and Summer's latest outing, during which the big bro interrogated his younger sis about her potential lingering feelings for ex-husband Kyle, was a prime example of a situation that Phyllis would have loved to insert herself into. Yet she was nowhere to be found. In fact, Daniel and Summer spent a good amount of their time speculating on her whereabouts, given that she'd gone uncharacteristically radio silent recently, having just made their mother deliriously happy by signing on with Billy's new Avid Communications venture. Daniel was particularly puzzled by her, not taking his calls or answering his texts. Summer hadn't heard from her either, although they both noted she'd set up a family breakfast for the next day. If she doesn't show up to that, which seems likely given the launch of this mini-mystery, their concern is bound to ramp up into a higher gear. So where could she be, or what might she be up to? Well, this is Phyllis, so the possibilities are myriad, but we can narrow it down. Our intrepid redhead could be anywhere, if we're being honest. But some possibilities are more likely than others at this stage of the game. She may have decided to fly out and spy on Danny and Christine on their world tour on a whim, but it's more probable that if she boarded a plane, it was to Paris. We all know that crashing Billy's Valentine's Day happened in her dreams, but we don't know where she was lying her pretty head to sleep when it took place. What if she was already in Paris, slumbering in a hotel, preparing to surprise/accost Billy in person after leaving 16 voicemails? When he finally called her back, she could have been in France, unbeknownst to him. That said, there's no reason she couldn't respond to Daniel from Paris, unless she was unresponsive due to the time difference. We suppose it's possible that Phyllis woke up in Genoa City feeling a little flutter from her sexy dream about Billy and called Nick over for a romp in the hay. Isn't that how they started? We're sure there was straw involved at least. Anyway, this is perhaps the least likely explanation, but one that can't be ruled out. Phyllis being Phyllis, there's always the chance that she's managed to land in some kind of trouble. She's been keeping her nose clean of late, but it's entirely possible that some type of strife came a-knockin' at her door. Ian Ward, as we all know, survived the shootout at the OK Coral Ranch and is presumably on the loose. Given he and the MIA redhead share a past, we have to wonder if the cult leader is somehow involved in her sudden disappearance. Summer suggested that perhaps Phyllis' phone died or she lost it, but we know Billy reached her on it. So yeah, something's up, and we don't think such a fuss would have been made over her radio silence if she was simply going to show up for breakfast the next day. That truly would be shocking. Then again, we all know how the Tessa and area of disappearance turned out. Let us know what you think is going on with Phyllis by voting in the poll. Phyllis Summers was always a woman of fire and fury, never one to fade into the background. In Genoa City, she thrived on power plays, passionate romances, and intricate schemes. But now, as whispers floated through crimson lights and murmurs filled the halls of Newman Enterprises, one question consumed everyone. Where is Phyllis Summers? It wasn't like Phyllis to disappear without a trace. In her world, every exit was an explosion. Every departure left a trail of chaos. Yet this time, there was silence. No dramatic goodbyes, no cryptic messages. Just an absence that gnawed at the city's elite. Summer Newman, her devoted daughter, was the first to sound the alarm. She paced the Grand Phoenix lobby, fielding questions she had no answers for. Nick Newman, ever the protector, scoured every resource available, calling in favors from private investigators and local police. Jack Abbott, her past and possibly her future, found himself haunted by memories of their passionate love affair, unable to shake the feeling that something wasn't right. Phyllis had enemies. Too many to count. Diane Jenkins, the ever-persistent thorn in her side, was the first to be questioned. Diane smirked at the idea that she had anything to do with Phyllis' vanishing act. I may have wanted her gone, she admitted, but if I had, trust me, you'd know. Theories spread like wildfire. Was she on the run? Had she orchestrated some elaborate scheme only to find herself entangled in her own web? Had she been betrayed by an unexpected enemy, someone who had finally outmaneuvered her? Or, even more unsettling, was Phyllis in danger? Across town, in the dim glow of a remote motel, a woman with fiery red hair sat by the window, watching the shadows dance against the pavement. Phyllis Summers wasn't lost, she was biding her time. She had left Genoa City for a reason. Too many knives had been at her back, too many betrayals had threatened to unravel everything she had worked for. But most of all, she had discovered something that changed everything. A secret so dangerous that it had forced her to disappear before she could use it. Phyllis had always been a woman who played chess, while others played checkers. She had faked deaths, exposed frauds, and outwitted some of the most dangerous figures in town. But this time, the stakes were higher than ever. She had stumbled upon a conspiracy, one that involved some of the most powerful families in Genoa City. If she revealed what she knew, it wouldn't just shake the city, it would burn it to the ground. Her fingers tightened around a burner phone. She wanted to call Summer, to tell her she was safe. She wanted to hear Nick's voice, to let Jack know she was still fighting. But she cooled. Not yet. In the depths of the night, she gathered her thoughts. There was one person in Genoa City she could trust, one person who could help her expose the truth. The question was, would they be ready for what she had to say? And would she make it back before her enemies silenced her for good? Back in Genoa City, the search for Phyllis was reaching a boiling point. The police were growing frustrated, and the media was beginning to spin wild theories. Summer refused to give up, convinced her mother wasn't just missing. She was in trouble. Because, as Phyllis stepped out of her motel, a shadow moved behind her. The game had only just begun. Would Phyllis return to reclaim her place? Would she reveal the truth before it was too late? Or had she finally met the one enemy she couldn't defeat? Genoa City wasn't ready for what was coming next, and neither was Phyllis.